Hello there and welcome. Today's video is for you if you've ever had that thought, I know what I need to do to lose weight, I know what I need to eat, I know what I shouldn't be eating, but I just don't do it. So this video is the 5th video and the final one in the series I've been doing on helping you figure out how to be more consistent with eating healthy so that you lose weight for good. Because, if we're not eating healthy consistently, we can do well for a couple days and then we can, blow all our hard efforts in one day. And so the goal is to be consistent with our eating habits at least 90% of the time, because then you will be able to start losing weight and keep it off. And so today's obstacle that I'm going to talk about is the topic of emotional hunger. And I know that for a lot of people I talk to, they often tell me at first, I'm not an emotional eater. And maybe you have that thought. Maybe your thought right now is, oh, nope, I'm not an emotional eater. This doesn't apply to me. And I would ask you to give me a little bit of time and allow me to explain the concept of emotional hunger to you. Because once I tell someone about emotional hunger, then that's when they see, oh, maybe I am doing some eating for emotional reasons. And so that's my goal today. I really want to explain what emotional hunger is. I'm going to give you some examples of what it looks like so that you can tell if it's showing up in your day-to-day life. And I want to give you a really simple 2-step process that will help you begin to avoid giving in to emotional hunger so that it's easier to eat healthy consistently. And that's the whole goal. The whole goal of this series, in each of the videos, I'm going over one of the obstacles that stops people from being consistent and giving you practical ways to start addressing that so you start losing weight and reaching your health goals and feeling better. Okay, real quick, if we haven't met yet, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm a transformational nutrition coach. I am the founder and creator of the Emerge Weight Loss Method, and that is the program that I use to help women lose weight in a really healthy, sustainable way so that they feel better, their health improves, and they can stick with these eating habits long term and keep the weight off this time. Okay, so let's dive into this topic of emotional hunger. So first of all, we need to figure out what is emotional hunger. And to really explain that, I want to go over the 2 different types of hunger. So first, we have physical hunger. And physical hunger is those times when you're eating because you haven't eaten in a while. It's been hours since you've eaten, your stomach is feeling empty, maybe it's growling, and your body actually needs energy and calories from food to function. I mean, that's the whole purpose of food, is to take in the energy, the nutrition, the calories that our body needs to function and to thrive. And so physical hunger is when you're eating because your body actually needs to eat, because you need that energy from food. So that's physical hunger. And then we have emotional hunger. And emotional hunger are all the other times where you want to eat. So emotional hunger might be those times after dinner where you just want a little something sweet. You're not physically hungry, you already ate a full meal, but you really want that sweet thing. Or maybe it's the times where you've just feeling so much stress or anxiety or overwhelm, and you just want something crunchy and salty to eat. Again, you're not actually hungry, but you just feel like you need something to kind of calm down the stress. Or maybe it's the times where you've had a really long day and you are exhausted and worn out by the end of the day. And there's, some food that just looks really good and you don't have the willpower to say no to it. Again, you're maybe not physically hungry. It might not be the most nourishing choice, but you just don't have it in you anymore to say no to it. Or maybe it's the times where you finished a big project or you got through something that was really difficult and you want to reward yourself with food. So all of those examples, those are times when we don't actually physically need the food, but we want it for one reason or another. And so all of those times, that's what I refer to as emotional hunger. All the times we want to eat, but we're not actually physically hungry. And so what happens is that when we give in to these times of emotional hunger, we end up eating too much because it's not physical hunger. We're eating when our body doesn't actually need it. So we're getting in extra food. And that extra food tends to be too much, and it makes it hard to lose the weight. The other issue with emotional eating is that emotional hunger is that this is what makes it feel like we can't be consistent. You know, you go on a plan and somebody tells you, well, here's how many calories to eat, or here's the macros you should be eating, and you know what to do. But then you get to the end of the day and it's like, I just really want more carbs. You know, I just really want that ice cream. And so it's what stops us from following through on our plans. And when you figure out how to deal with emotional hunger and have tools to do it, to reduce those times of eating for emotional reasons, then you can be more successful on any plan that you have because you know how to follow through on eating and making those healthy choices consistently. And so that's really what I see as one of the big problem with diets is that they will tell you what to do and how much to eat, but they don't ever help you figure out why is it that it's so hard to stick with. And that's why so many times traditional diets fail. It is also why we need a different approach to weight loss. We need an approach that will help us actually make these changes and that will help us follow through on whatever plan you want to follow. And so this idea of emotional hunger, it is so powerful when you start to recognize it and address it. I will tell you over and over when I'm working with women in Emerge, you know, we work together for about 3 months and then we get to that end of the time and they tell me more often than not that they had no idea how much eating they were doing for emotional reasons. And they now feel so much more in control of their eating choices because they know how to be consistent. They know how to deal with those times where they want to eat, but they're not actually hungry. So I want to share, it is a process, I will tell you, to really get this emotional hunger issue under control. But I want to give you a really simple 2-step process that will get you some quick wins and help you start cutting back on some of the overeating and mindless snacking so that you can be more consistent. So here's the 2-step process. Step number 1 is anytime you are about to eat something, I want you to stop and just ask yourself one question. Am I physically hungry? So let's say it's lunchtime. It's 12 o'clock. The watch says it's lunchtime and so you're going to eat, and just ask yourself, am I physically hungry? Or let's say, it's the middle of the afternoon and you just always have a snack around 3 p.m. I want you to stop and ask yourself, am I physically hungry? And so what this requires is to stop and to check in with our hunger level. This is, again, something that most diets don't teach. They tell you they tell you when to eat and how often to eat. And that causes us to stop listening to our body and stop trusting our body. So that is step 1. Before you eat, just ask yourself, am I physically hungry? And that means checking in and just notice, is your stomach empty? Has it been a while since you've eaten, and are you actually feeling hungry? And I will say the challenge with this is there's a couple things. One, if you're not eating well and eating balanced meals, and if your blood sugar is not balanced, then your hunger hormones aren't balanced. So this does work a lot better once we get your hunger hormones balanced. But anybody can try it at any point. The other issue is that oftentimes, for a lot of women who've been dieting, they've started to ignore their body's hunger signals, or they don't trust it. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of time to even pay attention and notice when you're hungry, to know what it feels like, or to trust that your body is giving you an accurate signal. So that is step 1 of the process, where you just stop and you ask yourself, am I physically hungry? And if you check in with yourself and you notice that, yes, you are hungry, then by all means, go ahead and eat. That is when we want to eat, when we're physically hungry. The second step of this process is if the answer is no. If you are wanting to eat, if you are about to eat something and you realize you're not physically hungry, then you want to get curious and ask yourself an I wonder question. So ask something like, I wonder why I want to eat right now. I wonder why I'm hungry. I wonder why I'm standing in front of the fridge looking for something to eat. I wonder why I always go for something to eat at 3 p.m. I wonder why, I'm so hungry, or it's so hard to avoid, giving in to the donuts that are at work. So that is the second step, is to just get curious and ask yourself an I wonder question and try and figure out, why is it that you want to eat right now? And oftentimes, just a little bit of a hint here, oftentimes there's some kind of trigger, like maybe every time after the kids go to bed, that's your cue that it's time to eat. Or maybe the cue is it's the middle of the afternoon and you start to get an energy slump, and so you go for food. So sometimes there can be a cue or a trigger that causes you to want to eat. Sometimes it's an emotion, you're feeling exhausted, stressed, tired, bored, lonely, sad. And sometimes those emotions cause us to want to go for food. Sometimes it's a thought, sometimes we just think like, I'm never going to be successful at losing weight, so I might as well eat whatever I want. Or sometimes we think, I don't want to miss out on that chocolate. I don't want to say no to the cupcake that's offered me. And so that's the second step of this process, is to just get curious and to start figuring out, why is it that you want to eat even though you're not actually hungry? And I will tell you, I've had lots of feedback from women who have tried this simple 2-step process. So step 1, ask yourself if you're physically hungry. Step 2, if you're not, get curious and ask yourself why you want to eat. And I've had women try this and they have come back to me, and there's been multiple women who said they've lost weight, lost 1 pound to 2 pounds in a week or two without even trying, just by using this process. Because what happens is you are starting to raise your level of awareness. You are starting to become more aware of your eating habits, which naturally will allow you to start cutting back on some of the overeating and the mindless snacking that so often leads to weight gain. So that is my call to action, I guess, to you. Your homework item for today is for the next 24 hours. So just for the next 24 hours, commit to using this 2-step process anytime you want to eat. Ask yourself if you're physically hungry, and then if you're not, ask yourself why you want to eat. Okay, so that wraps up this series that I've been doing on all the obstacles that can stop us from eating healthy consistently. So just a quick refresher for you if you missed any of these. The first one was that we often try to lose weight on our own, and it's really hard without support and accountability. The second obstacle was when you skip meal planning. That makes it so hard to be consistent. Number 3 was when you go on restrictive diets. That often leads to a lack of consistency. Number 4 was, overwhelming yourself, trying to do too much at once or too many changes at once, expecting yourself to be perfect. And step 5 was ignoring emotional hunger. So those are the obstacles that, I've talked with hundreds and hundreds of women about their weight loss struggles. And these are the 5 that I see come up over and over again that really stop people from being able to be consistent with eating healthy and being able to lose weight. So if you missed any of the other videos, you can go back and catch all of them. They're all in the Facebook group. They're also on my YouTube channel, so you can find parts 1 through 5 on there. And then if you are ready to really get some extra support and some personalized support to figure out how to work through these obstacles, that's what we do in the Emerge Weight Loss program. It is very carefully designed by me to address each of these obstacles and more, and it gives you a step-by-step plan to follow so that you have the support you need, you know exactly what to do, you don't have to figure out anything else on your own, and you have me there to coach you through these obstacles so that we can create a really good, effective plan for you to lose weight, keep it off, and to feel your best. So if you're curious to know more about that, I will put a link to my calendar in the comments. You can book a complimentary lose weight and keep it off consultation with me. And so during that call, it is a totally no pressure call. It's just an opportunity for you and I to talk about what your goals are and what you're struggling with. Like I said, after talking with hundreds of women, I'm pretty good at pretty quickly picking up on what your unique challenges are. So I'll be able to help you uncover some of the factors that are stopping you from losing weight. And then that will help us be able to shape a plan for what next steps do you need to take to reach your health and weight loss goals, so that this can be it, like so that you can be done dieting, you can lose weight once and for all, and just stick with it. So if you're interested in booking that call, I will put the link to my calendar. I would love to talk with you. And whether or not you end up working with me in the Emerge Weight Loss Program, this call by itself will give you a lot of clarity and a lot of insight about what to do to better reach your health and weight loss goals. So I would love to talk with you. I would love to support you personally. So go ahead and book that call. And that wraps up this series. So we will talk again very soon. Bye.